Hi, and welcome to the 2-Minute Warning. I'm your host, Perry Busby. The 2-Minute Warning is brought to you by the Westside Gazette, Broward's oldest Black family-owned newspaper. It has been serving Broward and the surrounding communities for over 50 years. And my co-host tonight is the publisher of the Westside Gazette, Mr. Bobby Henry. Bobby, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing wonderful. It's okay. I'm just glad to be here and see what we got planned for this evening.
Okay.
As we wind down this year. So I'm just glad to be here. I'm terrific and getting better.
All right. Yeah, you got to use the phrase. That's what we were waiting for.
Oh, that's right. You know me. You know me. So we just gonna have a good time tonight.
Yeah.
I took off the tie. All
right.
So we just gonna have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, it's reason to take off the tie. This is the end of the year. This is the last show for the year.
Yeah.
So we here to celebrate, man. I'm excited.
Speaking of celebrating, hold up. Let me see. So we celebrating.
Right.
To say goodbye, yes it does. Me to cry, that's alright, because I'd rather leave it now.
All right. Let's
right. You know, each week we're looking to see what you're gonna grab out of your jukebox of goodies.
Yes, sir.
But man, we not gonna delay the time. I'm excited. As I say, it's the end of the year, so this is a party. And so stand up to the mic. So let's invite our additional host tonight. We're gonna go ladies first. Of course, she's no stranger to the show. Everyone who watches the show talks about her and wants to know when are we gonna bring that lady back who bring all that fire. And so we bring in the fire tonight. Want to introduce our good friend Mona Lisa Weber. How you
Good
doing,
evening.
Mona Lisa?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, beautiful people. Good evening out there in YouTube world, Broward County. Shout out to everybody. And, thank you again. Make sure you join, you share, you feel me, you like, and ask any questions because I'm ready.
All right. That's
all right.
Yeah. And next we got, he's no stranger to the show either. As a matter of fact, y'all don't know this, but maybe you do. He's been on the Billboard charts too. But his thing is Positively Paid. So let's welcome Ramon Robinson to the show again.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. What's happening?
How you been, my brother?
I've been awesome. Just working hard. We got a lot going on, and I'm just grateful to be on the show again. I appreciate it.
Very good.
Right,
Very good.
right.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ramon, I understand that you guys had something special yesterday to happen.
Yeah. So we worked with Najee Kelly. He announced that he's committed to the University of Miami. So we worked with him on some trading cards and establishing his brand while he was in high school. And so he was actually part of our investment class that we did at Dillard as well. Actually, all the kids that committed yesterday played a part in our investment class. And so it was just like such an honor to see them to commit to the schools and see what they're doing with their future. And especially with some of the things that we taught them about investing. And so we're really, really, really excited about that.
Okay, we're gonna hold that a little bit later when Coach James comes on. We're gonna talk a little bit about that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better.
A little bit better. Am I too low?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys tell me how to turn this mic up because I don't need to be low.
No, I'm hearing you fine.
Okay.
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Okay. No. What I was saying was the part about the signing at Dillard. We're gonna hold on that for a little bit, when Coach James comes on. We got as another guest along with Mr. McCormick. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Great.
One of the things that go ahead. I got a text and he didn't get the link.
Yeah. So how many athletes went through your program? Ramon?
So we had 10 of the seniors in the program this year. So with what we made in some of our investments, we just, how we do, we invested that back into the youth. And so we gave each one of the kids $100 and taught them a little bit about the stock market. We brought in millionaire investor Bobby, who did an amazing job on teaching them about stocks, how to invest, what stocks to look out for, how to spot some of the stocks. And we taught them a little bit about crypto as well. As you know, everything we make, whether it be books or clothing, we make sure to reinvest that back into our youth. That's the main goal, is making sure that they have the support that they need, and we are teaching them the things that we did not know growing up.
No, that's fantastic. No, and especially as this NIL comes in, and Florida plays a big role in that. And so I'm really excited about it. Yeah,
we actually had a lot of people asking us, was that an NIL deal? What we do in the community, we don't do deals like that. What we do is we give you the rights to whatever we create, because we need you to benefit from that. We don't believe in holding anything over anybody's head. We don't believe in creating contracts where people owe us 80%, 70%. We don't do anything like that. We don't even put people in contracts. We do this to help the community. We all benefit as we have success. As we see with the Westside Gazette, they're not in the community asking for money and stuff like that. We all benefit from the success they have. And so we take that model, and that's what we use when we're working with the youth. We've published about, I think, 4 or 5 books already with our youth. Again, the youth don't owe us anything. They are not in a publishing contract. It is just a tool for them to understand about how to become better with finances and becoming published authors. And so that's what the work does. And so we're like super excited. We got some more people we're doing trading cards on. So we have some really cool things coming out in the near future. We even got something with Mona Lisa over here. We're super like, that's one of the projects I'm more excited about, because as people know, like, she has a lot of information, a lot of experience, and a lot to teach. And so we just want to be a part of that. Again, this is one of those things that we do with Positivity Pays, where it's just an investment in the community. You invest in the community, you invest in yourself.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. There was an article in the paper this week concerning attorney Benjamin Crump, and there we go. So let's get some chatter on this. What y'all think of this?
So I had a conversation about something like this recently, where they were talking about people in Mississippi being enslaved up until the 1960s. A lot of this is just the legacy of slavery. When you're talking about human trafficking, children taken out of foster care and put into these systems, they've been doing that for a long time in our community. This dates back to them having breeding farms, right? These are the same people. This is why they don't want us talking about history. These are the same families and the same people who have been doing that throughout history. And so this is something they don't want us in our community talking about. In the Black community, we have been trying to end human trafficking for hundreds of years. It is something that is prevalent today. 20 million people are kidnapped and put into human trafficking every year. So slavery never ended, and a lot of times the children are the most susceptible to this. They're the most vulnerable. We have a huge foster care system in this country, and that's a lot of times how children end up in these situations. But also, just due to COVID, you had 800,000 people pass, and now we have 5 million kids in foster care because of that.
So Mona Lisa, did you see it?
Yes, I mean, Excuse me. Yeah, I saw it right now. I tend not to look at news too much. It's very devastating. But I'm not surprised, right? All these systems are masked, right? So it's literally like we had slavery, we had all these inhumane treatments, and all it is a mask. Now you have the foster care system, you have the juvenile system, you have this system, and people really fall for the bullshit. Like they really, really fall for it. So this country has a way of making things seem very legit, right? Because it's a system, right? And we fall for all these concepts and all these principles and all these so-called laws, but not understanding that these laws are being written by the same people that are oppressing us, right? So nothing surprises me at all anymore. Part of my work is to bring awareness and connect history to what's going on right now, particularly around the criminal justice system, the juvenile system, the food systems, right? Like everything is exactly the same. It's just, you know, they sugarcoated it with foster care system. Oh, the juvenile, the Department of Corrections, you know, the public school system. But there is still inhumane treatment in all these systems. But since there are systems, people think that they're here to actually help us. So
yeah. These are supposed to be some allegedly some wealthy, pretty wealthy, and politically influenced white men who took at liberty young girls. They were having sex parties, and the sisters came forward to tell their story. And of course, Brother Crump jumped right on it. He himself has a daughter. He said he'll do everything he most possibly can to prevent this from happening. Here we go again. It's like we're coming over on ships. You know, we find ourselves as chattel, if you will. So let's just understand something. See,
Right.
Somebody cracked the whip. You see, are we going back or are we going forward? So,
Well, you know, and that's an interesting question because I heard recently someone say, "Are blacks headed back to slavery?" And I think that's a question worth asking because blacks coming out of slavery had no idea what Jim Crow was. I mean, Jim Crow didn't get named until later. And so what you have is this process of the frog in a kettle of hot water. And it's just steady raising that temperature. And so again, that's Bobby. Is that your?
I think we need to remember something, y'all. You know, I'm sorry, Perry. I just think that, you know, sometimes we forget it. We truly do. So, but anyway, finish your thought, Perry. I apologize.
No, go ahead. I didn't know where we were going with this one. But no, I mean, it is truly a thing we have to ask ourselves is where are we going? You know, for all this progress we've made. And I mean, we've made some great progress since the 60s. But if you don't know what to do with progress, I mean, you'll easily give it back.
Let me ask you, is Mr. McCormick back in the back room? Okay, he says having some feedback problems. Okay, you want can let's bring on our first guest. Let's get Mr. McCormick on.
Okay.
Mr. McCormick, what's happening?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Very well, and yourself?
All's good.
Okay. Does everybody know Mr. Bill McCormick?
No.
Oh, well, Mr. Bill McCormick was one of the premier presidents that the Fort Lauderdale branch of the NAACP has had. He's also the chairman of the board of trustees at Florida Memorial University. Mr. McCormick is known for building and creating things, and I just refer to him as Mr. Black Man because of his unapologetically approach. So, what's happening, Mr. McCormick?
Oh man, it's all good. Long day. You know, I don't lose though. I either win or I learn.
So what are you learning? What's happening on the FLOMO front, Florida Memorial University front?
Well, I mean, right now we are getting ready to embark on some new culture changes we got going on. Revamped the entire board of trustees. We brought on some new innovative academic programs, preferably in the healthcare arena, sports management arena. Got rid of some programs that were basically draining revenue with no kids actually majoring in them. So we've kind of spearheaded a real cleanup with that. Our band is growing by leaps and bounds. We'll have a 220 member band, second year in operation. Our football team, we just signed or got some commits, I should say, from 6 of the top junior college players in the country will be coming down to Miami. 3 of them are actually from South Miami. So they're coming home so their parents and grandparents can watch them, you know, play and then graduate down here from HBCU. We just started an investment club through the Business School of Business, which will be launching in January. The baseball team, we have Hall of Famer Barry Larkin, who's working with our kids every day. As you know, last year I went on record to challenge the NIA Sun Conference that we will be the first HBCU to win the national championship in our division, and I'm going to make sure that happens as long before my tenure as chair expires. But not only that, I'm increasing the graduation rate by leaps and bounds greater than they've ever seen because I got a spirit on campus going right now where the kids are buying into this vision of excellence, the pathway to their prominence. And I'm a product of Florida Memorial, and every day I get up and go fight in my arena. I've been doing healthcare for 32 years. I started from my garage, and I have built and sold. I know the game, and I want to teach them this game of prosperity, this game of advocacy, and not being apologetic by being black. I want them to understand black ain't nothing but the color. But what we seeking is the color that it controls where we go and how high we go, and that's the green. And I want them to understand what that means. I want them to understand how to, stay in a firm and then finish, but then be an example to bring somebody along with them. That's the culture, the new culture that we're building, and I'm excited to see it moving so fast. And what better place than the place that you matriculated and got your foundational ground from. So that's why I'm so committed, because I got here old country boy from Georgia with one pair of shoes and a couple polyester pants, and I can look back 40 years and say, hey, look where I started, but the journey ain't over yet because it ain't about me. It's about making somebody else understand that they got a journey so somebody else can understand.
Okay, good point. Now I understand that Coach James is backstage. If we can, we're gonna bring all this in, and we're gonna have the conversation. We're gonna touch a little bit, Raymond, about what happened at Dillard and signing, and what's going on at Florida Memorial. But also Coach James. Coach James is former outstanding coach from Dillard High School on up to Virginia Union, where he set one hell of a record. He's been around HBCU football, but he's also have touched kids in a way that he truly understands the need for our student athletes to remain true to the game of being who they are and not somebody else. So can we bring Mark James on?
Good evening. Okay,
there's a couple of things. I know Dion's and Coach Buddy Pugh are the topics of discussion now in HBCU sports with the Celebration Bowl coming up. So Mark, give us a little bit of history, if you will, concerning Black athletes, Black coaches, and what is happening now since HBCUs are on the spotlight.
So I'm going to try to do this in the most compact way without taking a lot of time.
Thank you.
First, because you know I can run my mouth, right?
Right.
So Bobby, what you have to really do is you have to really look at this historically, and when you look at it historically, we'll realize that there were times when FAMU and Grambling were the dominant teams in the country, not just in HBCU land. I wrote a piece called "The 50 Years of Silence," and basically what has happened is that we have sold our soul, so to speak, for bigger stadiums, locker rooms, financial greasing of palms. Many of our athletes and families have moved away from HBCUs. It is not until recently, with the move of it really started with Howard and their hire, or you could go as far back as Brian Jenkins coming from Rutgers. But there's a movement that is going on, and obviously it's accented right now with Deion Sanders, who just signed the #1 player in the country. So there are turns going on. The key thing is that as Black people, we as people of African descent, rather, we cannot react to these things emotionally. We have to understand that there's a word called sustainability, and we have to be able to use these larger waves to be able to guide the smaller ones. In the undercurrent, we've had HBCUs closed in the last 10 years. And there's a long way to go, but these are good things that are happening. So kudos to Deion, who I'm just going to be honest with you. He traded in his white college football card with being able to sign the #1 player in the nation. He's going to be villainized. So it's a big move for HBCUs. I think if you look at Hugh Jackson over at Grambling, it's a big move for HBCUs. It's a big move for the culture. But what has to be done is we have to create pockets of sustainability to make sure that we're not reacting with emotion. We're methodically and precisely moving forward so that the whole school gains and not just the football team.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ramon,
And-
go ahead.
No, we'll go with Ramon's.
With the students over at Dillard, did any sign with any HBCUs? Ramon, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I was muted. So no, not yesterday, but there's another signing. So yesterday was just early signing day. So only, I believe, 4 or 5 student athletes signed to colleges yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Coach James, as you said, you think that Deion may be vilified in this. What do you think about some of the predominantly white press, such as USA Today, who looked at that signing and immediately began to talk about what 5 or 10 universities should be best suited to hire Deion Sanders? And, so what do you think about that?
What I'm going to
say, looking at it a totally different way. They saying, "Oh, let's get Deion."
What I'm going to say might not be as popular, but I'm going to say it anyway because that's my style. There's a thing called commodities versus liabilities. Okay, Deion Sanders is a commodity that happens to be Black. He's a commodity, though. He's a commodity that was created at Florida State, taken to the next level in the NFL, and he took a nice twist on it. And he made it work for him because he's got the personality. But one cannot forget that he's a commodity. When I use the term liabilities are those Black college coaches, as I was a former Black college head coach, that come up through the Black college system. From the very bottom, from high school, I was at Dillard High School, Boyd Anderson, all the way up to, a head coaching job on the HBCU level. Those are what we call liabilities. So now we know that HBCUs are looking for the splash factor due to marketing. So while Deion is doing a lot for Black colleges, we have to, again, not react with emotion and understand there's going to be a whole segment of a whole segment of black coaches that have cut their teeth in HBCU football that are going to be no longer valuable as for the head coaching jobs. Point number two is, again, I reflect to Pablo Freire, the pedagogy of the oppressed. I think in a lot of the things that we do, we're looking for the oppressor to free us. And the oppressor can't free the oppressed. Only the oppressed can free the oppressed, because it's a mentality thing. And once you're free, you are either going to face the oppressor and ask the question why, or unfortunately, you're going to oppress those that look like you. So what we have done for the last 50 years, really, when it comes to HBCUs, we've stifled HBCUs. We've made HBCUs be the third place or the third choice that many of these athletes have chosen. So now what Deion has done is say, listen, we've got the number one player in the nation. Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat. He will be vilified. He will pay the price. He's going to have to dot his I's and cross his T's. And they will come after him. I'm speaking about the realities. They will come after him. If you look at all the quotes today from white coaches from major PWIs, they're all speaking about now all of a sudden they're saying, well, people are paying players and all these different things. But again, Deion realized today that even though he's a commodity, he's still wearing the weight of black skin.
Okay, let me stop you right there for a moment.
And if I can, Bobby,
There you go. And I want to get Mona Lisa. Go ahead.
But one thing that we cannot deny, he know their game. He was a byproduct of the system, and they know he know their game, and they're afraid that if he's talking vocally now about how to market, they're afraid that he's going to lay out their secrets. What Brother James is saying is, wait a minute, now we can't let him go and do everything. He can do some things. But what we have to do as a people, particularly as HBCU people, is not just let the number one kid come, and if he don't get drafted or if he get injured, he don't graduate. That's what we got to focus on. Show the value of what the foundation of that education is going to mean long term. And if we do that, then we win regardless of what they do. And that's what I don't want us to lose sight of that. Let's just not make it a one-side educational component on the flip of this coin. We want that kid to graduate. If he graduates, that's a whole different ball game.
Okay, let me do this right. Let me do this. Okay, Mona Lisa, you want to chime in?
I just have a few things to say, and I'm gonna be as respectful as possible because I love our black men. And I'm not really into football. I don't really care too much for it, but I respect what all these brothers have done and are doing. Mr. McCormick, I do want to say please for FMU, because I used to, do a lot of the partying back in the 90s at Florida Memorial College. It used to be that back in the day. But please consider agriculture. Please consider healing up in these schools. Consider really us going back to the ways of being sustainable by growing our own food and stuff of that nature. If you have the power, that would be something that I believe is essential for our people. And I commend all of you for doing what you're doing. When it comes to football, I don't want to say too much because I'm not privy to a lot of the information, but I will say this. I really want to know why college football players don't get paid. That's number one. Number two, there was a young brother here in Broward County that walked in front of a train and killed himself. And he was getting ready to go to one of these schools up in Georgia or something. Homeless, living in a car with his mom and his brothers. And yet, this brother is like 2 weeks away from going to this big college, whatever the case may be. And yet he walked in front of a train, and I'm mind boggled. And one of my questions was, why in the damn world this young brother gets signed, getting ready to go to this college? I don't remember what the college was. And it really hurt me because I know the mom. So, we talk about all this stuff, HBCUs and football and all this other stuff, you know, are these young brothers being taught about what CTE, what the consequences are of becoming football players? Are these brothers going to get paid to be able to be sustainable for their families? Because that really shocked me. I did not know that college players, or if they're getting, is it drafted to go into these colleges? I'm not sure what the word is, but like this brother homeless with his family in a car getting ready to go to this major college or university to play football. And so these are the kind of things, you know, so that's why I don't really want to get too in depth with the football conversation, because I have my own views on it. But these are serious questions that I would like to really know about, because there's serious consequences to the game of football. That's all I have to say.
Now, hold up, y'all. We got a show to go on. It's some good stuff. Mark James, Bill McCormick, Mona Lisa, Mark and Bill. We're gonna cut you off in hopes that you'll come back, you know, so we can continue this conversation. We got some folk in the back waiting back there, and I just want y'all to understand that, you know, we're in this together.
Feel emotion, yeah. I'm gonna have to penalize you. I feel emotion, baby. You know that's against the law.
Okay, and so Mark and Bill, can you take 30 seconds and leave us with a little bit of something, and we're gonna bring on the next guest. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Now, y'all know I love you. You know I love you, and I know
It's not a problem. But I want to let Sister Weber know that Bryce Gowdy was the kid you speaking of, who was going to Georgia Tech. He was the #1 wide receiver in the country at the time. And there's a lot of issues. It was ruled a suicide, but suicide. My father committed suicide, so I know suicide very well. And at the end of the day, I will be able to share with you. Bobby can share your information. I give you my insight on that. But I want to say to Brother James, I've read from afar your works, and I appreciate what you did to empower the lives, of what you do. Continue to do the power of the lives of young men. And to all of the other guests, it's my pleasure. And anytime you need me, Mr. Henry, I'm available.
Yeah, and trust me, brothers, I don't mean to cut anybody short. You guys are a well of knowledge, you know, as deep as the ocean is. And we were just trying to put something, and believe it or not, Perry say, man, Bobby, you can't do that. It's too much. It's too much to unpack. but we will be back, you know. So big game.
I'll just say this in closing. Again, I think that it's a level of lunacy in a lot of different things, and you got to look at what we do when we're asking those who oppressed us to give us the way out, or the show us to the light. It's very important, whether we're talking about football, whether we're talking about, like my brother right there, Raymond, talking about being able to teach financial literacy to our kids. We have the skills, we have the knowledge. We just need to be able to continue to plant the seeds. I will finish with this. In the Bible, everybody can't be Moses. Sometimes you got to be Aaron. Moses never made it to the promised land. Okay. But Aaron did. So it's very important that as a people, as an African people, this is a relay race. So Brother McCormick, thank you. Thank you for passing me the baton. We'll pass it back. Hey, be blessed, everybody. Thank you for inviting me.
Amen. Bless you too, brothers, man.
Bless you, man. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Have a good night.
Now, you know, also in the news, man, the federal jury awards $6 million to a black man after he served 23 years in prison. You know, Mona Lisa, this is your cup of tea here. What's your thoughts on that?
I need you to repeat the first part because I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Let me see. It's Ari, can you put up that story? Okay. All right. There was, maybe I should put it in the chat. Oh, repeat. Okay. There was a federal jury award $6 million to a black man after serving 23 years in prison for wrongful conviction. Here we go. It's on the screen right there.
All right.
Mhm.
Amen to that. They should have given him more.
So what are you finding, Mona Lisa, in your works within the system or the peripheral? What's your thoughts? What are you finding out about that? This is not the first time that this has happened.
Well, I'm really curious to know how did they reach to the 6 million? Because this happens on a regular basis. Some people don't get anything, or they'll get pennies on the dollar. You feel me? I believe that someone who is wrongfully convicted needs to get major paid. Major paid, because you can't take that back. Also, I truly believe not only major paid, but top of the line counseling, because doing 23 years in prison, you're probably institutionalized. And if anyone has been around men or women who are institutionalized, it is extremely difficult to engage, because it's a certain mindset. So major paid, they need a house. Literally, like, the system needs to pay for everything on top of what they give them. You can never ever take back that time. I also believe that, why did it take 23 years? Right? Why did it take 23 years? It's such there's a hole in the system that allows for such, everything is so slow. Everything takes so much time, right?
There is I lost my train of thought. Got to be more careful.
Yeah,
Help
in
me out,
fact,
Eric.
there was no. I was just going to say, in addition to this particular case, there was another case recently where as Mona Lisa was saying, this man, I won't even call him a young man. This guy was exonerated, I think, after maybe even 40-something years. He went in as 18. And he's coming out in his late 40s. And he says, you have to understand, I went in the early 90s. And even though the GoFundMe reached close to 2 million, just the ability to repatriate himself into society. You can't even put a price tag on it.
No, it's like coming back from the dead.
Yeah.
You know, and I see our guest is back there. Who we got? Andrea Barnes is wrongfully convicted, the same as having the wrong conviction. Oh no! But do we remember the case in Minnesota where this white lady, and she was killed when she came up to a police car. She startled the police, and the police shot and killed her. Now she got 25, and you can't put a price on death. I understand that. She got $25 million, but the young man who was also killed only got $6 million. You know, so this thing, when it comes to trying to right or wrong financially, we still find ourselves on the lesser end of the scale. So,
can I ask a question about that? One of the things that bothers me with stuff like this is crime statistics. A lot of times in the news, they're quoting crime statistics, but if you're illegally locking up innocent people, are you changing the statistics at all? We saw in Philadelphia, there were 40,000 cases that they messed up and arrested 40,000 people, imprisoned them, but the crime statistics didn't change. Why is that?
That's a good point. Now, those crimes that were messed up, were they messed up in a lab?
Yes, those are the ones. They even did a documentary on that. And although they let the men out of jail and out of prison, they still serve time. I didn't read anything about anybody being compensated for what happened to them. And some of these men had drugs planted on them. They didn't commit a crime at all. And so when we look at that, you look at the history of policing where blacks were unable to arrest whites. That's problematic, but that plays a role in crime statistics. And a lot of times, what do they discuss? The crimes in certain areas. None of that is true if you're locking up innocent people. And when do we change or check the crime statistics?
Good point. You know, and here we are. And yeah, I'm going there with this. Here we are to have an opportunity to have a top of the line crime laboratory, if you will, in our community, where we can learn and prevent stuff from this happening. But you know, we're looking at it as it's a damn morgue, you know, as opposed to a forensic laboratory where we can train our children, you know, and not make them or not say, oh, they're fearful of dead bodies.
Yeah. Well, and that's just Ramon picks up on a point that we really need to begin to focus on community-wise as we go into this next year. Especially, you know, I keep getting amazed every time we hear about some crime happening, and then all of a sudden you hear about some mysterious database or some surveillance systems and so we have really got to pay attention to the surveillance and monitoring that goes on with our system, within our communities, but also ask this one really serious question, as Ramon was saying. If every police stop has to be reported, then shouldn't we keep track of all these illegal stops that happen within our community? And so those are things that we need to, we need to have a place where someone in the community can say, look, I've been getting stopped. There should be a record. And our systems can only be as strong as we hold them accountable.
There go that word. There go that word, accountable. We don't even know what that means or how to do it. Like right. we barely get involved in our own homes, let alone like all these systems. It literally has to be like a revamp. You know, we know all this stuff is happening, but most people just don't. I won't say they don't care. It's a lot going on.
Okay, let's do this. This is some deep stuff. Let's have a lighter side of this conversation.
Bobby!
I know. We're gonna come back to it. I understand one of our guests, she has guests in town, and she said her guests are rolling their eyes at her. So let's see if we can bring Miss Grace Poole on. Grace is the curator of how should I say? She is the art person, the keeper of arts and all the good stuff that's right here in the heart of the city, from Destination Sistrunk to everywhere. So let's invite the queen of arts on, Miss Grace Poole. What's happening?
You're so kind. I'm just humble, doing the people's work for the greater good. How's everybody doing today? It's nice to be here.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry to jump in like this, but you know how it is when you work 24/7 and you got family and they're like, oh yeah, you said uh-huh. So I appreciate you letting me hop on. Big eye rolls.
Yeah, and the thing, not the thing, but the program you had me to come and witness you in action about what you were doing. Can you just give us a synopsis of what it is that you've done and you're doing?
Sure. Thanks for asking. So we know how valuable our historically Black neighborhoods are. We've got an incredible amount of history, amazing assets, and a lot of capacity when it comes to cultural heritage tourism. arts and cultural development, and the Black creative economy. So back in 2015, we got together and decided that we wanted to launch a cultural heritage tourism initiative. We named it Destination Sistrunk. We did a few years of piloting a variety of activities. And then we came into full being in 2019, where we developed a partner organization to help provide for ongoing implementation. So the organization is called the Destination Sistrunk Cultural and Community Investment Partnership, and it is charged with implementing the Destination Sistrunk Cultural Heritage Tourism Initiative of my agency, Broward County Cultural Division. So it's underneath my portfolio. It's community led. The board members of the organization have business, community, and generational ties to Broward County going back to the 1920s. And the mission of the organization is to elevate, market, and promote historically Black neighborhoods through arts and cultural development, heritage and historic preservation, and tourism. And it conducts this work in partnership also to elevate, market, and promote our Black creative economy. So we have a really great diversified approach. From artist residencies to mural programs to arts education, concerts. We also do visual art exhibitions. We established a brick and mortar in 2020, and it is now the Destination Sistrunk Cultural Center. And it is comprised of 3 venues. One is the porch, where it's a gathering space, permanent artwork, small intimate meeting and event space. The second space is the Albert A. Tucker Black Art Gallery, which was named after Albert A. Tucker, who was one of the co-founders of Destination Sistrunk, who unfortunately, tragically passed away about 3 months after this facility opened. So we're so happy to honor him with a visual art gallery, and that also includes oral history listening stations where people can hear his documentary, as well as others that are collected through our program. And then we also have the Circuit Arts and Event Space, and our artists in residence do a lot of art making, rehearsals, performances, and presentations out of there. It's a full professional setup, stage, sound, lighting. We have tech support. So our artists in residence are able to do their program in the space. And we're also able to provide support to our Black businesses and organizations and civic associations by hosting many of their activities there. So we will be we'll have all of the first floor of a Black woman-owned facility, which is fantastic. And it's comprised of over 5,000 square feet. And a lot of our activities will be happening on the street. We also support the other historically Black neighborhoods in Pompano, Deerfield Beach, Dania, Liberia, Carver Ranches in West Park, Lauderhill, and Miramar. So when we have folks come in from out of town, we have conferences. Once everything is up and running and the digital platform is there, people want to know what's happening in Black travel in our Black neighborhoods. They'll be able to go to destinationsistrunk.com, have a digital experience, which will help them set the stage for coming to see us locally. So we're super excited about this partnership, and we're glad we've got such tremendous support from within the county and from business and community leaders throughout Broward.
Okay, very good, Grace. That's as we say at Destination Sistrunk, it's all good.
Good in the hood.
Good.
Yeah.
All good in the hood. So.
Mona Lisa, down on your end, have you hooked up with Grace to make some things happen?
No, we've met. I believe we've met before. We've been keeping it very quiet because we've been doing light activities. COVID really messed up our schedule, so we've been doing light activities. Our artists in residence have been doing their art making there, and we're still in build out. So the gallery space we're acquiring in February, and so we're going to take the majority of 2022, installing the exhibitions, finishing getting the furniture. There will be some programming happening, but we'll be full throttle by the fall of next year.
Very good, very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Right.
Grace, thank you so very much. And you can now tell your family members to stop rolling their eyes at you and you can join them. And when
I
you're ready-
appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show. I look forward to seeing everybody again in the future. Ramon, you've been at the spot. It is totally transformed. We got a trust system in there. It's pretty great. Mona Lisa, I look forward to having you out at the site as well and looking at ways where we can all collaborate in the future.
Okay.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you so
Happy
much.
holidays.
Thank you,
All
Grace.
right.
Take care, sis.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Okay.
That is dope.
Now, I understand that we got Miss Grill Marshall is backstage, and we got Renfro too. So
Right.
Perry, you wanna introduce Renfro and
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Mona Lisa, Greer gonna give you a run for your money. Now you hear me? She
I
is
love
something else.
it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, no, I
Oh, Brandon is there too. I understand. Brandon is back there too.
yeah.
Oh, well, we're gonna
Okay,
have a
so
good
we're
old
gonna
time.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna bring Brandon on first, and then we can bring our other guests, or let's go and bring Brandon on.
How y'all doing?
Man, you in the dark.
Hey,
Who you hiding
Brandon.
from?
Brandon, we can't see you, brother.
Can't see you, man.
Y'all
You in
leave
the dark.
Bruce Wayne alone.
On me,
Lord, have mercy.
trying to get
Brandon.
my computer, so I just stopped at a gas station where there was light, so I could get on the call. I just
Well, that was right.
So this is after taking care of some work. I just down.
Listen, when there's a will, there's a way. Good to see
All
you.
right, good to see you.
It's good to try to see you, man. It's good to try to see you. Oh, boy. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Bobby, working with the West Side Gazette, and the Black Press has been, I think probably one of the most important relationships that I could have nurtured and developed. I mean, just, and the history that comes with the West Side Gazette. But I have a good friend, our community started, one end was the press, the other end was radio.
Mm-hmm.
And just like our black papers are under attack to stay in the game, so too are our black radio station, especially the ones who have a voice to our community. Because there's a lot of them who want to play our music but don't have our voice. But I guess the guest I'm bringing on is a good friend of mine. His name is Tony Renfro. He's from Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont had a station by the name of KJET, and it was owned by a guy by the name of Boy Brown. Boy Brown was, and Tony can tell it better than I, but I think he was either the brother or the cousin of James Brown. And James Brown has set up all of these radio stations throughout the South. Tony at the time was a young DJ. I think he started DJing at 13. And so now, like us with the West Side Gazette, he's gone from radio to starting a podcast, and now we got all these old men on podcast. So want to introduce another old man on the podcast, Tony Renfro, my good friend. How you doing, Super
Hey guys,
T?
how you guys? Hey, up in down there in South Florida and beyond. Hey guys, hey, listen, guys. I've been listening to you all, and you got a great podcast going, and I want you to keep it up, please. Yes, I am from and when we talked about football and what's going on, well, I'm a football fanatic. I was a football official for 42 years. So football is my game. I retired 4 years ago, and I'm still a part of the game. But I want to let you guys know, in South Florida, I'm in Beaumont, Texas, Southeast Texas, the pro football capital of the world. I don't know if you know that. A pro football capital of the
Here,
world.
here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go with the
Come on
football
now.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So
The competitiveness is
I just
out of
want to make
control.
sure you all know where I'm coming from. Yeah. So so we've been around, but I was listening to Perry as he was introduced to me. Sure enough, I started in radio at 12 years old, and Bob Brown was the program director, not the owner. The owner was a guy by the name of Tom Lemon out of Tyler, Texas. And just recently, we tribute Bob Brown, who is the first cousin of James Brown. So I got a chance to meet these guys early in life. Back in my day and time, I heard you say something about old. I ain't old. Back in my time, we was in segregation, and I was telling people about a job the other day, the young kids, and they were, how was it being a black person and growing up in the 50s and 60s? I said, well, I've got two parts of the world. I was in segregation and I walked into desegregation. And I was telling them about how we had to live back in those days. And we lived in our own section of town. We were satisfied. We thought we were rich, But I'm going with this and saying that we are I was in a world where we had to do things different. And it hasn't changed. It just opened a little bit open with it now. So I was able to go into segregation and go walk into desegregation. Bobby, I heard him, but he wasn't at that minute as I was talking about this. But anyway, so I was in radio for 10 years. I started at the age of 12. I was able to meet all the artists, had a participant with them. It was amazing because at the time, again, I'm going back to segregation. The artists like Ray Charles, Bobby Bland, B.B. King, Ike and Tina Turner, the Temptation. Back in those days, you could not live. You could not go get a hotel in the South. And so those people had to stay overnight with us. And they were called a chicken circuit. So you're traveling by car and going to these different venues to play, but they had nowhere to stay. So it was always arranged that they had a place to stay. So I was able to meet and sit down and sit at the table and listen and know all these people at an early age, because some of them had to live with us, the weekends. So being in radio at a young age and grew up among guys that was 10, 15 years older than I, they was like my fathers around me. They protected me. They didn't allow me to do things that most kids would do, because I was underage, but I knew they taught me how to drive, so I was able to drive a car, do all that kind of good stuff. But I was able to be with them, and they walked me like a village. They walked me through the process. And this is where we have a problem now today, is that we do not have enough villages to raise our kids, because the world that my parents and my family prepared me for no longer exists. They are not, it's no longer exists. It's another new world here. And I was listening at you guys talking about the HBC football. In my day, that was the day. We had to go to those games, Grambling and Texas Southern and Prairie. We had to go to the game, and we had to go to Southern, and we had to go to those games. But today, right now, we have to market that for our kids now. I understood you say about Deion is a commodity. Yes, he is. But we just can't sit still and let Deion just do it. We've got to, as a community, as a group, as an organization, we've got to grow back our black colleges. So I had to add that in there because I heard y'all talk about that earlier. But anyway, I'm back in my radio days today. So I spent 10 years in radio, and I also spent 4 years as a record director for Warner Records and Atlantic Records. So I spent a lot of years in promotion and promoting shows. Now I've been 40 years in the automobile business as a dealer, and so I've been around in this world. So now, at my old age, I have a podcast called Knowledge is Power Podcast. And this podcast is a platform to share important information by educating the Southeast Texas African American communities with viable information on health, education, finance, politics, business. So we do a lot down here in Southeast Texas for our community. And we're making them aware of what's going on. We've got a lot of issues here, just like you have a lot of issues there. So we're working on it, and we're going to continue to work on it and make everyone accountable that we invested in and voted for. We're here to make them accountable. With that said, Perry has joined my show a few times. So Perry, kind of tell them what we kind of go through there.
Well, yeah, I think it's just really part of the overall ecosystem that we have to develop. There's nothing different in Southeast Texas that isn't going on here. And what we can fix here can be fixed there, and what they fix there, we can apply here. And so it's just been one of my goals now that we've come into this new era of life, that we really just need to reach out and really begin to connect some old dots like we used to. I mean, there was a time that when you were Black, your whole ecosystem and information system was already there, and we don't have that infrastructure as sound as it should. So, just want to do my part, and wanted to introduce Tony so that he and Bobby and definitely Mona Lisa can do something in Southeast Texas. I can take it down there.
I'm ready, because I started this whole movement in radio. I started Probation Station to teach the people about the justice system. But, our peoples is so traumatized that they only react when something happens. So
absolutely.
We have to start changing that.
Absolutely.
Being Black people, it's already known we're going to go through the criminal justice system. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. So we need to prepare ourselves. So that's how So Mr. Tony, I want to come at you with some guidance, you feel me? And see how we can work together, because I do plan to bring my show back.
Put a pin in that right there. Pin that right there. Hold that right there. Now, you want to talk about bringing all this stuff together. Our next guest, Greer Marshall. Greer is a film document. I don't know if documentarian. Is that a word, Jesse? You know that ain't a word, but she's a filmmaker, as well as she is the producer of one of the utmost respectable podcasts on StreamYard that it is. Hashtag Let It Be Known, NNPAs, Black Press. So if we can bring Greer on to join in this conversation, I think it would be great. Greer, are you there?
I'm here.
One and only Greer.
There she is.
How you doing?
Bobby is doing a lot. Listen, ain't trying to pit me against Mona Lisa. Please don't. Talking about I'm going to give her. Please don't.
Bobby,
listen,
I gotta be transparent. When you can come on with just one name. You just
I'm gonna tell you something. So
come on, boo.
Listen, I don't mean to put him on the spot. I gotta say this. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So Bobby, when he mentioned this the other day, I was like, yeah, brother. I'm thinking he meant watch the show. Okay. So I have had no sleep, okay, because I was shooting last night at this Black church in Georgetown, and had to get up in the morning at 5 o'clock to get prepared for the show in the morning, and been running, have guests. And so when he sent me the message today, I was like, what? And why is he asking me what my title is? And so I said, I literally put my iPhone on an alarm to wake me up, because I was like, I'm gonna put some lipstick on and put my wig on, you know.
Greer.
It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I had to put it together real quick because I'm used to being on the other side. I mean, they don't know that I produced the show in the morning in my pajamas. So,
I love it. Oh,
Hey,
Greer,
hey,
welcome.
Miss Greer, it's great to
welcome.
meet
looks
you.
like y'all been having fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to working with Bobby Henry.
You know,
Yeah.
on a serious tip,
Over.
okay.
So tell us about your shows as you're producing them.
Yeah, talk to
Well,
Because Mona Lisa just
I-
asked me.
So generally what I was doing for NMPA was creating special projects, you know, mostly like small short films for their special events and that sort of thing. And so Stacy, they've been making some transitions. He wanted to do more things with news and really needed some collaboration there. And you know, I've just really started doing this, but we've been enjoying it, right? You know, we've been able to really focus on the topics of the day, which has been huge. And also talk about some of the things that some of our folks don't really want to talk about when we talk about politics, like calling people out and things of that nature. If you heard some of our green room conversations with with Bobby included, that's really the best part of this. You know, that's really the best part of this is those green room conversations. But I mean, I think most people come to the show with, you know, an authentic perspective, but you know, it's been great, you know, so far. I need more female journalists within the Black press. So if anybody out there hears this, you know, has got some energy, we really would like to invite you to participate and you know, and bring your voice to the conversation, because we're not really getting enough of that.
Yeah. Greer,
Do you know that the green room conversation?
Oh yes,
it's always better than the
yes
show, right? You know. So sometimes when we're having a conversation in the green room, I just go live and just don't tell them anything. And it's just
no, I can't do that. We get real. I can't do that.
You're gonna get some people in trouble.
Right.
I tell you, that green room conversation.
One morning, I made the mistake. I thought I hit end, and you know, StreamYard sometimes acts a little buggy.
Right.
If something gets offline, like it won't end the show, and people started going, I was like, oh my God, I started pulling them off the stage, you know, because you know, we just ended the segment. And you know, it got a little, you know, it was getting a little crazy. It was about to get crazy. I didn't know where it was going to go, so I had to, you know. But it's been fun, and I you know, this is fun. Are you all going to be doing this on a regular?
Yeah, we do it every Thursday, Greg.
Okay, I didn't know. I just, you know, I'm just getting hip.
Yeah. You say you're working on a great. You say you're working on a project in Georgetown. Is that related to the recent news story about the what happened with the Black families in Georgetown?
No, but I'm sure they're going to cover that. Actually, that was a project of a friend and colleague of mine. I went to help him like with some gear and ended up being there, like, you know, being a part of the crew for the night. But it's actually a reenactment of it's called Remembering Freedom. And it's really it's a story about and I can't tell you all of the because I don't know all of it, but the Black man who was a slave, who when he bought his freedom, and when he got his freedom, he bought this church in Georgetown, and it's and so all of these slaves, you know, when they former slaves enslaved, they went. This was a haven for them, and so it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really interesting project, but you know, it was a reenactment. We were shooting for quite some time. So it's a documentary, a docudrama type of thing. And so yeah, just haven't between that and other things of work related. I have not. I'm a workaholic, but I enjoy working. I enjoy my work. So, you know.
Yeah. You know, Greg, you mentioned earlier, you know, and Mona Lisa, the reason why I said that is because Greer is very passionate about her politics, and she will come from another Brandon, you can appreciate this from another side, that most Black Democrats are not willing to.
Okay, let me just. I'm not a Democrat. Let's be very clear. Okay. I am not a Democrat. Okay, so I just wanted to let that be clear. I'm not a Republican either, but I'm definitely not. I don't want to, but that's a party that I typically vote for. But it is what it is.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
Listen, what do some folks say? The devil I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's what that is.
But what do we do? How do we begin to change this devil? Because one of the things that I think that we really need to talk about, even in terms of getting new leadership, but we have to get new leadership that I think is willing to change the way we go about our election process. I mean, America and Canada, I think, are the only two countries now that still have two-party systems. And they're the only two countries that vote based on candidates. Every other country votes on party. So we've got a lot of overcoming. It's a lot of things we have to overdo, because when you really look at it from a map perspective, the winner is never the leader. It's just, as I say, it's the Negro or the white boy out front.
True.
Okay, no.
It's a game. It's a game.
We gotta be willing to play that long game.
Right.
It's a game. This shit is a
game. Listen, let me tell you something. My brother, my kids, when they were like, if they missed an assignment or they were, and I would say, oh, I didn't do that. I would say, I don't care if you have to copy somebody's damn paper, get that assignment in, because it's all about the numbers. I know you're smart. You know what I mean? It's about the numbers, and that's what it is. And in this case, we are. Bobby has heard me say this. It's about power and money. Republicans will do the same things that Democrats would do. If you give them power, all they want is your vote. They're not going to do anything really meaningful. They want your vote. And so, but they'll give you something. They might give you, I don't know, maybe they'll give you George Floyd. They'll give it to you because it's just about having access to power. And the thing that I can't respect about the Democratic Party, is that they pretend that they're good people, and they're not.
I think Warnock's pretty much said that. Yeah, I think Senator Warnock pretty much kind of brushed up against that thought when he talked about the filibuster, and he said, "Hey, look, it was some good white people doing Jim Crow,
right?
But we still had it. It was some good white people during civil rights, but we still had it, and so."
The conversation is disingenuous, Perry.
Yeah.
It's not honest.
No. And so, therefore, should we then change the focus, instead of talking about what they're doing, and turn it inward and say, okay, look, what can we do? I mean, because if we start talking about, why are these kids like that? Or, it wasn't like this when I was growing up. Well, look at how much shit we done lost in our community. And I ain't even talking white people. I'm talking in my community, the one Black YMCA that was named after one of the most well-known doctor and an uncle to Andrew Young. We let that YMCA go defunct. Tony Renfro there, he'll tell you, we still fighting over it, and we still wondering why our kids acting like they act.
We need to heal, y'all. We need to heal. We fucked up. It's so simple. Like, we need to heal as people. And it's
Brandon
not Democrats, it's Democrats.
I heard you call my name a few times. I apologize. I've been going in and out, so the conversation.
That's okay. This is coming right at you. You got some say so on this. You enlightened. You had the phones lit up when you were having your discussion.
Yeah. So what are we discussing now at this point? Just because, like I said, my audio been going in and out. So where I hear we talking about Democrats and not being Democrats. I just want to get the context of the conversation so I can chime in.
Okay.
No, I just wanted it to be clear because I didn't want that label on me. Don't you know?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
So I just wanted to make that clear with Bobby.
I was hoping, Grill, that I was getting ready to say, I was straightening that out.
Yes, please.
I was hoping,
put that out there.
You pull your straight razor out on me and said no.
So, Grill, if I understand you, you're basically saying I just vote that way. I'm not that way.
I mean, like I said, it's it's the devil that I know. I've been, I've wanted to be committed to that process, right? The whole participating, right? I've been, reared in this way, but I'm if I want to keep it 100, I'm a skeptic when it comes to all of that. Truth be told,
right?
Well, is it that
like
we're
most of
choosing
us are,
the wrong people?
like most of us are really, right? We do this, we participate in this game out of obligation. Black folks fought hard to vote, and I think that argument isn't going to work going forward. Carvel, I said this is Bobby heard me say this before. Carvel was right. Wokeness did hurt the last election. Negroes are tired of participating and giving something for nothing. And that's just what it is, and so how can I in good conscience tell someone to keep going? And I mean, it's just hard, we're understanding the reality of not just the situation that we're in, but that we're so fractured. All of us ain't gonna be able to make it, but we know that we need as many as we can get, right? And that's just not a realistic expectation. All of us are not going to make it. So you gotta, the sister's right. We need to heal, and so should we be telling our people to go out and participate, or let's focus on healing? And here's the thing, like my mother says, you either live in your world or somebody else's. And we've been living in somebody else's world for a long ass time.
And since you say that, should even in that healing be confined to the limits of these contiguous states? I mean, one of my things is, we haven't had a black migration in, oh my gosh, on a major scale in over 50, 60 years?
Since folk came from Mississippi to Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So should blacks even think in their next migration that it shouldn't just be confined to these 48 contiguous states? I mean, I'm just kind of at the point. Look, if we can't get together and you're going to always be underhanded in your dealing, then something wrong with me if I keep trying to make you act upright and I already know that you're not. So am I being, I mean, I'm not throwing it up, but I'm not going to let you feel like you hold the golden egg.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, I know that's a major, but that's what Garvey was saying. Look, Garvey was saying, let's get the shit up out of here. Let's start doing trade. Let's put our stuff back and let's put our money into what is going to help us.
Man, I ain't finna go nowhere.
Well,
I'm just saying, don't limit what we can do.
We should know what we do, but to if you're talking about going back to Africa, that ain't even.
I didn't say Africa.
But here's the question: where do we go? right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where do we go? We, you know,
Well,
I
we
do
keep talking
believe.
about all this $1 trillion that Negroes got, and black folk, we can do this. Where all that money at? Then when it comes time to say put up, then now, oh well, you see, my money kind of funny. It's in this account, but I can only get it on the other day. You know?
Everybody just talking, man. Everybody just talking, bro. Like this shit is exhausting. Like everybody just talking. Everybody's talking. Most people are death struck. You know, and I'm just really I'm just gonna it is what it is. You feel me?
It is
Most
what
people
it
don't
is.
give a damn about what the hell is going on. Most people are death struck. You know what I mean? They're not concerned about politics. They're not concerned about their community. They're not concerned about the children. They're not concerned about shit but their own instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. And I just wish that we can get into those deep conversations so we can actually start digging within and start healing. But nobody want to heal because they have to hold themselves accountable.
Right.
They got to hold themselves. They got to look at themselves in the face and be like, God damn, I'm a fucked up person.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Damn it, bro. I done some shady, some fucked up shit. I'm a fucking mess.
Right.
And that is the most difficult thing to do, to look at yourself in the mirror and confront yourself and hold yourself accountable. But that's what you have to do in order to heal and get connected to Mother Earth and understand how the universe works and understand our connection. Like, bro, this shit got me so tired because I was one of them ignorant ass people that didn't know anything. So I'm out here, you know, what's the word? Looking for guidance and having people trying to teach me shit, but you turn around, you be like, bitch, what the fuck? You work, what kind of politician is you? I'll slap the shit out your ass, like straight up. And I'm just being honest and real because you can't come in my face and tell me you finna do one thing and then turn around and you doing something else. And this is constantly. So even the people that we put in leadership, most people are not healed. Everybody's out for profit, for and I don't want to say everybody. That's too, we can't say that.
Yeah.
Most profit, intention, like it just, this is exhausting. So I don't really, I don't know, you know, what just I don't even know what to say at this point.
That's what I'm saying. It becomes so frustrating that you get tired. You just tired. You get tired of dealing with, folk. You be like, all right, go over there with that. I'm chilling this weekend.
Yeah.
Because it feels like you throw your hands up. And I agree with all of that. But that's the American way to not confront, to not take accountability. It's the American way. And I don't see that changing no time soon.
Wow.
No, I do have to be grateful that I've met, you feel me, Perry. I've met Bobby. I've met these two brothers here with Positivity Pays. Like that right there, Positivity Pays is so powerful to me. And the only way I look at things is I constantly talk to the universe and pray to send me. And I also want to be a reflection and I want to attract, so in order to attract good, you have to be good, right? So that's what I work on. And to meet these brothers, I mean, Positivity Pays. That is so powerful to me. And they doing the work, they putting in the work. So there are people out here that are doing stuff, but it's just not enough of us. Right. And the negative forces are so powerful that we just.
I want to add something to that. Mona Lisa, I feel like you're 100% correct in that assessment that we need to heal first. Because even if we go somewhere, do you want to go somewhere with somebody who still has the same problem?
Right.
You're just gonna take that problem with you. Brandon and I have done a lot of research, a lot of work. We've been to seminars. We've worked with therapists on ourselves before we started this organization.
Yes.
So when we deal with the youth, we understand what they're going through, right? We understand how to identify issues before anybody even says anything. We had a situation the other day, young girl wanted to do some music with us. And before she even spoke, we realized that we needed to help her outside of the school. I immediately asked the counselor, what is going on in this situation? I need to know. We need to know this so we can help her. I can't expect her to do well in school. I can't expect her to do well in the studio if she's hurting. Right? When your mind is on the abuse that you've had to endure, the trauma that you've had to endure, how can you possibly do well in anything else? And then on top of that, how can you even focus on anything when the problem keeps coming up? Right? And then when we started Positivity Pays, one thing that I realized that I didn't know was in our community is the richness of culture, brilliance, talent, hard work. Just like there's so many people. That's why the trading cards. That's why we do trading cards. Because I need everybody else to know that your community is filled with brilliant people, filled with beautiful people, filled with people who are trying to make that change. The problem is we're not connected. How do we connect to each other? How do we connect to each other and support what we're doing? A lot of issues come because we just don't know. It's not that I wouldn't support. I didn't know what you were doing. Right? And so that's what we're trying to do with Positivity Pays. We're not taking money from people because what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach the youth, one, that you got people in the community that can literally change your life overnight with just a little bit of information. Right? We have our own newspaper, the Westside Gazette, that like, what are we doing to support that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we have to come together. Anybody that understands the issue needs to reach out to somebody else. If they're not coming along, that's fine. But we have to keep reaching out to people, and bring them along, because there's more people that have that like-mindedness and the willingness to create change than we even realize in our own communities.
Mm-hmm.
I concur. And I do want to say this, since you said, what are we doing? Bobby, please allow me, because right now I'm doing hygiene bags for the incarcerated youth.
Okay.
And each bag, those out there in YouTube land, community work is the Cash App. 40 youth need hygiene bags. Just letting the whole world know. That's what we're doing for the holidays.
We're helping with that. Please let me know. We're going to help with that.
Appreciate you. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Ramon, thank you for that. For that. It's true. We all need to connect. Mm-hmm. All those that are doing the work. That's why me and Perry constantly talking. You know what I mean? We got to start connecting to these young brothers out here in the streets that have huge followings, that are doing work, but they get ignored by the politicians and by the cities, because the cities and the politicians understand that those brothers bring out the whole city. So now there's competition between the city, the politicians, and these brothers in the community. So the brothers in the community will outshine the city and the politicians, and they don't want that. So they keep them afar and don't provide them with resources. That's one of the things that I would love to tackle here in Broward County, because there's brothers out here that will do an event and 400 or 500 people show up in the city. Instead of joining forces, want to take over what they're doing. You feel me? And I'm talking from experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, I don't know where to go from here. This year, you guys got me speechless.
That's Mona Lisa. Hey, Mona Lisa do it to you every time she leave you
Yeah,
speechless.
yeah.
Indeed.
So, but and you're right. Healing is the way. One of the questions was asked was, how do we heal? But that's a topic for another conversation. That's the beginning. That's the beginning.
Well, a lot of it, I think, is therapy, right? A lot of us have been through things we don't talk about. We don't talk to other people, and it's like, if you've been injured, you go to the hospital. What happens when you suffer from something mentally, physically? How do you deal with that? We have to start dealing with these things. The first thing is that accountability. If you've done something, just being honest with yourself. The other part of it is, if somebody else has done something to you, is making sure you seek out help. There's a lot of people out there willing to help. We have a lot of Black therapists in Broward County, and we've had the honor of working with them, where when we're in the school, we actually did some work at Silver Lakes Middle. We brought therapists in with us, and he began identifying problems immediately with some of these kids and getting them help. right? You've got to seek the help, because that's how we start to change. One of the best things I ever did was going to therapy. The anger I had, that it immediately dissipated. And now I'm able to work in the community without looking at other people like they're the problem. I see the problem that I'm creating, the problems that I'm causing, right? And so I'm making a change within myself first before I start trying to tell anybody else anything, you know. And then what we do is we try to be the support system. I'm not here to tell you how to live. I'm here to have your back, right? So if you have an issue, I can connect you with a therapist. That's the wonderful thing about these trading cards, is because we're connecting the community. We're finding the therapists. We're finding the people in the community who are in the financial space, so we can connect our youth to that. It's amazing. A lot of the youth that we've done financial literacy with, the parents reach out to us because it's things they didn't know, you know. And there's so much that has to be done in our community and just educating each other. For instance, how do I heal? That's an extremely important question. And that's something we need to deal with, because there's a lot of people that don't know how. I didn't know how to heal. What am I supposed to do? I know I'm angry, but I don't know how to deal with this, right? And so we need to seek out those people, because we have healers in our community.
One thing I'll say about healing really quickly, because, you know, I've been working on my healing since 2016. Connecting to Mother Nature and putting your hands in the dirt. My apologies, it's not dirt, it's soil. The soil is the healthiness. When there's no nutrition in the soil, it's dirt. We as humans, we tend to forget that we're mammals, right? And we tend to believe that we just live here and that we're not part of the ecosystem. Right? So when you understand that you are part of the ecosystem, right? So pure example, the trees give you the oxygen that you need to breathe. What we release is the carbon dioxide that the trees need to breathe. So we're connected. We have to get back to the soil. It is mind-blowing when you start growing your own food, when you see, does anybody understand that there is, in one spoonful of healthy soil, there is over 6 billion organisms working together in this soil? Every mammal species on Earth is doing what they were naturally supposed to do, except for the human species. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're doing what the fuck we want to do. And that's where we're fucking up. We are so disobedient to Mother Nature and to the earth that it is an embarrassment. That's all I'll say.
Okay. You know, this has been a therapeutic venture. Greer, how much time you got with us? And we're winding down.
I got it. I got a few more minutes. I have to get some stuff ready for tomorrow morning and then get to the sleep.
Okay.
I was gonna go too, but before I leave, I wanted to let Mona Lisa know we're gonna give you a grant from Positivity Pays towards this in the name of the Westside Gazette and Bobby Henry.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna create that grant, and we'll make sure to give that to you either tomorrow or next week, whenever you're available.
Okay,
that's
great.
awesome. Thank you. Listen, the kids are gonna love it, and you're more than welcome, both of you, to come in and see the stuff that we're doing inside the juvenile facility. So
okay.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Let's kind of we're gonna wrap it up. Greer, and you know, certainly we want to have you back, really, so we can continue the healing process, but also to point us in a direction, to give us some insight, you know, perhaps where a lot of us don't want to look, you know. So it's just a pleasure to be able to,
it seems like Mona Lisa, she has said it all, and that's definitely, I mean, the healing is major, because you got to start there first before you do any work, just like the brother said. You know, we got to heal, and that's gonna look different for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mona Lisa, here in January at the Midwinter Workshop, we are doing some healing. That's a part of our on Thursday morning. If you're available, I'll get it to you. And I want you to come out and just all of us and take part in it. That's the Midwinter Workshop. But I'll give you some more information on that. And to those who are out there listening, it's the NNPA's Midwinter Workshop from January the 19th through the 21st at the Hollywood Diplomat Hotel. And it's a special thing. And we'll talk more about that. And I'll share on another show what's happening with me as it pertains to that. I don't think I've brought it to the public's site yet. At least we haven't, but the NNPA has, and that's something that's a big to do in recognition of yours truly, if you will. We will be receiving the Lifetime Publishers Achievement Award from the NNPA, and that in itself was remarkable. That's so for what we do, for what we do. So, but saying that, I want to bring this session to an end. I know it's the end of the year. If we can go around 30 seconds and let's see if we can wrap this thing up and give us some hope. Brandon, are you there? Can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, let's start with you. We didn't get a chance to hear you a lot tonight. So if you would give us some hope, step up to the mic and give us some hope.
Absolutely. Let us go into 2022. Whatever's been sitting in your spirit, on your mind, and on your heart. Let this not be the year of excuses, but the year of execution. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay. Miss Greer Marshall.
Well, I mean, the brother just said a prayer. I thought we was gonna. That's kind of what he said, right? But what I want to say is, because it sounds like a lot of you live in Florida, what I think we need to do is, I think that we can get to where we want to go. I know that I sound like I'm a skeptic, but I believe that it is possible, right? We just have to be willing to take a long journey. It took a long time to get here. It's going to take, it might take a little bit longer to get where we need to go. And so, I do believe it's possible, right? So just, know that it's possible. How about that?
Okay. Ramon?
So let's go on to 2022 as a village. For those of us who are connecting with other like-minded individuals, please keep them in your prayers, keep them in your thoughts, because it's difficult. The work that we do, the things that we see, the stories that we hear is difficult, and it weighs on us. Like Mona Lisa was talking about, the young man that committed suicide before going to college, the things that he had to deal with that would put him in a situation to commit suicide, I can assure you were just horrible. And there's only so much a person can take. But those of us doing the work, please, let's go into 2022 as a community, as brothers and sisters, and make sure we do everything that we can to support one another. It doesn't take money to support each other. It takes a like, it takes a share, it takes a thank you, it takes just some kind words to continue doing the work, because sometimes we just need that to keep going. That's the fuel that keeps us going a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Miss Mona Lisa Weber.
It's been a long year. I appreciate all of you. I'll just say what my mom said to me many years ago. When you do it with love, it will flourish. When you do it with love, it will flourish. May she rise in power. And I also pray, and I pray for all of our people, for all of our communities, to really just start being intentional about living in the space that we're in.
Mr. Busby?
Well, first of all, thank all of you for accepting the invitation tonight. You are friends. You're not guests. You're friends, and I would not want to end this year any other way than around friends, and especially around friends with purpose. And I guess one of the things that I look forward to, this has been a year of struggle, but a year of new opportunities, and I'm excited about next year. Excited about what's ahead. Also worried about a lot of stuff too. And my worries and my concerns keep me just as energized as the hope is what I know that we can accomplish when we come together. I am just amazed at this group that surrounds me. And all of you keep me encouraged. You know, if I call, Perry's calling with some crazy idea and he gonna talk his head off for about 10 minutes before you figure out what he really talking about. But one of the things that I will say coming into 2022 is that leaders have to, in addition to healing, leaders need to find a way to relax and commune with other leaders. And that's what I hope that we do, that we find time, not just as we cross paths on the work that we do, but we are deliberate in taking some time together to commune, to talk, to strategize, to move not just these ideas forward, but this community that we love forward. So with that, thank all of you listeners for joining us each week. I pray that you have a wonderful holidays, that your family is able to love on each other despite all the news that says that we need to stay apart, that we will find ways to weave our hearts together and rejoice, for we are a overcoming people.
Okay. Mona Lisa, I used to say it's the dirt in the flower pot that makes it grow. But from this point on, I will remind myself that it's the soil in the flower pot that makes it grow. And no matter what we say or begin to do, it all begins within us. It cannot start from the outside. Anything that comes from the outside usually comes in to hurt. But if it starts from the inside, it goes out and it touches different things. Like a ripple, when you throw a stone into a lake, it goes out to touch. So I would say to us that may our ripple start from within us to go out and touch. And in the words of Romney, a Persian prophet, he said it this way: I have lived on the lip of insanity, wanting to know reasons, knocking on a door, it opens. I've been knocking from the inside. So start with you to address anything and take it into the new year. May God bless you and keep you, and may God smile upon you, and let us remember that it is because of us that we all live.
I love it.
Yeah. We can do it. Wow.
Bobby.
Shipboard, 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 yeah. Shipboard, 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 shipboard. As far as your eyes can see.
Bring that comment back up. There was a comment from one of the viewers, and I want to read that. I think we're going to say good night. But if you can bring it, it says, Miss Linda Thigpen, congratulations, Bobby, on your achievement through the Westside Gazette. You and the paper are a beacon in the community. I will be making a $100 contribution to help with juveniles in Bobby's name. Keep up the good work. All the best going into the new year. I joined the program late, but we'll go back to hear the entire conversation. All the best. Thank you very much, Ms. Thigpen. God bless. And let's do it together.
All right.